All right, this is just a quick test to see if things are working. Can you hear me okay? Hi guys. I am trying to adjust my software so that it sounds better. And yeah, I'm trying to tweak the software. You can hear my voice okay? I see there's a tiny amount of delay. I think the sound comes slightly ahead of the picture. I don't really know how to fix that. I have tried. What about the guitar? I'm trying a different way to create my guitar tone through the live streaming software. Can you hear the guitar? Oh, that's good, you can hear it. Okay, so I'm not going to be very long. This is just a test. I don't know, do you want me to, should I show you some scale or something? Or do you want to, oh, do you want to ask a question? I will try and answer. You can hear only the L side. I don't know why. 1, 2. Is it mono? I don't know. Is the guitar only in one channel? Well, I don't know. It should be stereo. Is the guitar only in one channel? Or is it in both? What could be the reason? Am I live 12 at midnight? No, it's not midnight here. It's only 9:45, and I'm just doing this for testing. Let's see. What if I make it? Let's see now then. Oh yeah, now it looks like it's made it mono. So now you should hear it in both speakers, right? I think it is. Okay. All right, so someone asked about chord tones on the pentatonic scale. Well, you really need to learn the pentatonic scale in terms of the intervals in the scale. That's really, really important. Yes, I'm going to do live streams on a regular basis. I will advertise next time before I do it. This is just a quick impromptu test to see if I can use my XFX modeling unit that I have. I'm using Fractal Audio XFX instead of an amp, a real amp. But it makes it possible for me to go straight into the software, and there's no miking of the guitar needed. Okay. All right, pentatonic. Well, it is really simple. You just have to practice it. You know, we have these boxes. And so on. But there's only 5 sank notes, right? So if we play here, I'm going to play backwards. So here's the root note, key of E, right? E minor, pentatonic. So root note, R, or tonic, root, 1, the same thing. It's where it all begins. If I go backwards, the next note behind that I get lower is the minor 7th or flat 7, which is a chord tone when you play, for example, an E minor 7. And then the next note after that is B, which is the 5th. And that is also a chord tone. That's part of, you know, a power chord. So the first 3 notes backwards, they're all chord tones if you play an E minor 7. But even if you don't play an E minor 7, just if you play a regular minor, E minor chord, you can still use the flat 7 or minor 7th as a chord tone, I think, because it just adds a little bit more color to it. After that, we get what's the weakest note. It's the 4th. And it's weak because we don't want to end phrases on it. It's very seldom that would be a chord tone. You would have to have a sus chord for that. But it's a good passing note. fourth. All right, with me so far? Chord tone. This could be a chord tone. Chord tone. Not the chord tone. And then the last note, which is the minor third. Very strong chord tone. In fact, if you look at the 12th fret, you have an E minor chord right there, and all those notes are part of the pentatonic, and there are chord tones for an E minor chord. So that's important to know the intervals or scale degrees of a scale, so that you can relate them to the chord that you're playing over. The same goes for major. The same approach. You just have to figure out those intervals. I'm not going to do that now, but it's just the same approach. Okay. The lick I play in the beginning of my lessons there, yeah, it was a while since I recorded that. I think that's what I play. It is really just it's really an E7 arpeggio with a hammer on from the minor third to the major third. Here's the E major triad. That's how I start the lick. And then I end it with. So that's the flat 7 or minor 7th. And then I bend the last note. And that's the lick. I end it with an E7 sharp 5. Cool? It sounds cool. Simple. My thoughts on Kemper. Kemper is cool. I have tried it a few times at the NAMM show, and yeah, it's, you know, it's good. I prefer the fractal audio because, well, partly because a lot of my friends have it, so I can learn from them, ask them questions if I can't figure things out. And it also comes loaded with a ton of great sounding amp models, and it's a nice format with that rack size. But the Kemper is fine. I mean, Kemper and Fractal XFX, I think they're in the same league. Just a matter of preference, really. I mean, they work differently behind the scenes, but in terms of the tones that you get out of it, I think you can't go wrong with either. I just found a little bit more pull from the fractal audio. I thought it sounded, well, to me it felt a little bit more like I wanted it to feel like when I played through it. But again, I haven't played Kemper that much. I'm sure it can do. I'm sure it can provide the same feel if you know how to adjust it. I just tried some presets when I was at the NAMM show. All right. One thing with the Fractal is that it has so many effects. I don't know if Kemper has that many, but the Fractal unit has a ton of effects, and they're really good. So that's handy, especially if you plan to use it live. Diminished arpeggios. Sure. I have a few grips that I use. You know, the diminished scale is very simple to understand. It's symmetrical. Half step, whole step, half step, whole steps. Either you start with a whole step or you start with a half step. Depends on what type of chord you're playing over. For arpeggios, well, because of the symmetry and the way of the scale and the way a guitar is tuned, it can be tricky to find finger-friendly arpeggios. And when we talk about arpeggios, we don't play all the notes in the scale, right? Like I did here. Right? I don't play all those notes. I just play stacked minor thirds. So that's what I like to use. Like I'm going to play over E minor chord. So I'm starting here with a minor third. You can play stuff like that. You don't have to play all those. Those are 5 strings, by the way. I don't usually use the low E string for these type of things, but you can play. That's just over 2 strings, and then I shift it a minor third at a time, because remember it's symmetrical. So whatever you play, you can take that same thing and move it up 3 frets, minor third. Right? That's one example of a diminished arpeggio. But it's a scale that you have to sit down with a lot and really get to know the shape, the visual shapes it creates on the fretboard, so you can memorize them. Because it's so different, right? This one is good to know if you play 4 notes per string. If I play the same thing, if I play that one that fits over the minor chord, I can play. And you can go really fast. So I'm playing 4 notes per string. And then a slide. And then I switch and play the same pattern. And here I shift an extra because of the way the guitar is tuned. Cool. It's a fractal world, yeah. But you know, the diminished scale has a certain sound that doesn't always fit into all styles of music, and it's very, very distinct sounding. So if you overdo it, it could sound weird if you play it too long. But here and there, it's cool to use, I think. You can start licks with it or end licks with it. Get in a little diminished arpeggio. All right, what else? Diminished arpeggio for blues. Well, that's what I did. You know, it starts to sound like Yngwie Malmsteen if you do it fast. I can't play like that, but I don't know how he does it, but this one is cool to play fast. Well, it's fun to noodle around. Like, uh, I I've heard people say that they like it when I noodle around on the guitar without any purpose, and I don't know. I try to create some lines that sound interesting. You know, trying to play melodically. I think that's my thing. But when I'm just noodling around like now, I try to focus on controlling the tone, the sound. And then try to go somewhere with my lines, throwing the chord here and there, just to try to create something pleasant sounding. But I'm always trying to play cleanly, without so much noise. And sometimes when I play those type of things, I hear chords in the background. You know, I sort of heard that type of sound behind me there. Now I hear a major chord. Now I hear C sharp minor. Now I hear A. Right? Like so. It's not rocket science. It's just trying to play good notes. You know, the melody is the key, right? I mean, for me, when I was younger, I tried to play all that kind of stuff, but after a few years, I realized that really not what I want to do. I don't think it sounds very pleasing. Sure, it can be impressive for those who are trying to learn the guitar, and you can play fast and flashy. I guess a lot of people are impressed by that, but I'm not so impressed by it unless it's done with finesse and melody and what I think of good taste. So I think it's better to play melodically or else play cool rhythms. If you play, you know, blues stuff, that you play with a good strong attitude and you know, make it sound like it's coming from you. You're not showing off. You're playing from the heart. Play from the heart, right? Yeah, I don't know Mean Town by John Winter, sorry. Have I been in many bands? Yes, quite a few. You know, nothing that got me anywhere in terms of music success. But you know, I played in a variety of bands: pop, rock, blues, fusion, all sorts of things, and it really helped me develop as a player too. Any recordings? I have a few, but not that many. I'm really wanting to I'm really wanting to do my own album. I just haven't, you know, I haven't really focused on it yet, and I need to figure out how I'm going to do it. But I would really like to have my own music out there, and some recordings that I'm happy with when I'm playing my best, and you know, something I can share with pride. One of these days it's going to happen. Mexican band other than Santana. You know, Mexican artists, I'm sorry, but I don't know many of them. Um, Los Lobos, weren't they Mexican? They were great. But I don't know much otherwise from Mexico. I don't sing very well, although I'm thinking I should try sometime. You know, with the studio software, you can tweak and hide mistakes. Maybe I can try one day to do something, but I wouldn't do it live like now. I would have to practice and sit down and do a million takes and see if I can get something sounding decent. We'll see. Nothing I'm focusing on. Do I have a paid series of videos? Yes, I do. I have lots of paid premium videos on my website, Master Guitar Academy. You can download there, or you can join as a member and access everything I have. Al Di Meola, I listened to him when I was younger, and of course I was very impressed. I'm not a big fan nowadays, just because I haven't listened to him in a long time. But I remember he had a wicked right-hand technique, and as a young player I was really impressed and inspired by that kind of stuff. You know, I listened a lot to Yngwie Malmsteen, Richie Kotz, and Marty Friedman, and Jason Becker, and all those shredder guys. It was so impressive, and I wanted to do that, but after some time I realized I don't really have the talent for that. And after that I started paying less attention to that kind of music. I'm more into jazz and blues and organic sounding stuff that's more just jamming. Like, I love jam bands, and I love live music, and I love hearing attitude and going for things, and even if there are mess ups and so on, but it doesn't matter. When the attitude is right and the player is going, you know, playing from the heart, that kind of stuff I like, compared to a bunch of impressive practiced runs that sound mechanical. That is not as interesting to me. Yeah, so I'm almost, I mean, I have my moments when I want to do fast and impressive stuff, but a lot of times I'm thinking more slow, like not flashy, just a few notes quick here and there, but trying to play something tasty without a lot of notes, at least not a lot of fast notes necessarily. I mean, it's good to be able to play fast, and I probably should work more on it, but I don't know, I just like to play the way I do, I guess. But in order to play something interesting, as you develop as a player and you learn more stuff than the minor pentatonic, it's good to look into songwriting and especially jazz music. Start to learn chord progressions, start to learn arpeggios to go with the chords and so on, so that you can navigate the fretboard as chords come by. You know, that's really a skill that's worth developing. Sean Lane, yeah, he was cool. Again, one of those super fast guys that just scared me, but he was cool for sure. Yeah, sorry, I'm yawning. phrasing, well, that is a big topic. The simple answer to phrasing is to listen and transcribe. And by transcribe, I simply mean copying. You know, that is the best exercise you can do. You listen to a player, doesn't have to be guitar. In fact, it's often useful to transcribe piano players and horn players. Actually, any instrument besides guitar, because it gives you a different type of phrasing a lot of the times, because guitar players tend to play, you know, the same types of patterns and things. But if you listen to horn players and other instruments, you'll have to figure out how do I play that on the fretboard, right? You might have to break out of your habits in order to figure out how to play it on the guitar, and that's in itself can be a really good exercise. So yeah, phrasing is about listening to a lot of players and figure out what they do that makes it sound good, and then try to copy it and try to do that frequently so that you develop more and more phrases. And before you even play it, you need to actually be able to sing it. That is really important. That's something that I have a feeling that a lot of guitar teachers don't talk about so much. And I don't mean that you need to be a good singer, but just that phrasing of the idea. Do ba da ba da ba da da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba da ba ba. You know, things like that. So you have the phrase in your head before you play, and it's mostly just rhythms. I do that with my mouth. You know, ba da ba da da, da 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 da. And so on. You know, just copy verbally what you hear, and then you try to figure it out on the guitar. So once you have it in here, you can play it. But if you don't have it in here, it's not going to come out well on the guitar. That's really important. That's probably the most important thing I can tell anyone when it comes to become a better lead guitar player. Because it doesn't matter how much you know on the fretboard. If you don't have the phrase in here when you try to play it, it's not going to sound great. Yeah, chord tone soloing, navigation. Yeah, it's not just chord tone soloing, but it's just being able to see what chord is happening here. A minor. D minor. E7. A minor. You know, you can hear, hopefully, in my playing, what chord I'm playing over. It's not just the pentatonic. I'm trying to highlight chord tones as they come by. And you can practice that by playing arpeggios, of course. It's really important to be able to find those notes as the chords come by. All right. Now this tone is pretty cool, isn't it? It's a Dumble style tone. It has a lot of sustain. when you have a tone like that, it changes your playing a little bit. I play more legato and longer notes because I have more sustain. When I noodle around like that, a lot of times I'm just playing little arpeggio ideas, and then I try to tie it into the next chord, so it sounds more like a phrase, and it is, I think. But a lot of it is arpeggio-based, triads and arpeggios. Yeah, arpeggio and scale fragments. David Gilmour, yeah, he has good tone. Yeah, and also when you're practicing this kind of stuff, it's good to have a metronome too, so that you can work on your time at the same time. No pun intended. You know, stuff like that. So you're locking into a groove, and then you start changing the rhythmic pattern in the arpeggio for variation, and you keep looking for new patterns, new rhythmic variations as much as possible. The more you know, and it goes again. It comes back to what you hear in your head. Da 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 da. It's hard to play. Had to do a sweep there. Ah. And so on. The more of those kind of patterns you practice, so they stay in there, you can start applying them in your lead playing too. Yeah. Wow, already 40 minutes. I'm just testing out, and I'm ending up spending a lot of time here. Single pedals versus helix type units. Well, depends what my purpose is. When I'm playing at home, like here, I like to use the Axe FX because I don't have to worry about the volume and getting the sweet spot with the tube amp and all that. But when I'm playing a band, I'm playing live, I prefer to use a tube amp and pedals, because then I feel like I have the most freedom, that I can put together my pedals as I want them, and I can easily tweak things, just bending down and, you know, changing the volume knob here and there to get what I want. Gigging with the digital all-in-one boxes can be okay, especially if you play like a well-rehearsed cover band, but if you want to have more freedom and flexibility, and yeah, then I do prefer pedals and a good tube amp. Yeah, so What other tricks can I show you? I don't know if I have so many tricks, but you know, there's more to playing interestingly than just scales and arpeggios, right? There's lots of things you can do with bends and slides. And one thing that I like to do sometimes is, you know, in blues especially, we have these sixths. Right? You can do, when you play in the key of E especially, you can do pull-off with that highest note. Then I use my ring finger to pull for that note. And you know, you can mess around with that and see what you can come up with. That's an excellent way to practice too. Just see what happens. Now I did the opposite. I do a hammer on the G string and then play the top note just once compared to stuff like that. Is fun to mess around with. You never know what you can come up with. You can slide them too. Not with a pull off though. Bend the note. See what sounds good. Instead of sixths, you can play fifths. You can create some cool little runs like that by just one specific technique, right? Yeah, good. Good. Double stops. Yeah, double stop just means two strings played together. You just have to look at the notes that you're playing to see what they belong to. You know, like pentatonic. That's a good exercise in itself to play two notes in the pentatonic. Like so. Those are all E minor pentatonic double stops. Right? Any other questions? you can sort of play chords, fake chords in a way, just two notes, and you can sort of hear where they're going. And then try to resolve it. Right? That sounds like E minor, B major, and D major, and A major, to me, even though the full chords aren't there. Right? It's like cheat chords. Just two notes. Mixolydian scales into blues. Well, it's just play Mixolydian. I have actually a course on my website that's I think is really useful. You might want to check out. It's called Scales You Can Use When You Play the Blues, where I go over these things, the notes that belong to the chords in the blues, the 1, 4, and 5 chords, and how you can use scales to make it sound good. I have something I call a hybrid scale. It sounds like this. And then you learn which of these intervals, which of these notes become key intervals, chord tones in other words, for each of those chords. But the Mixolydian is the chord that fits with the 7 chord, naturally. It's just it's like the major scale, but I have a flat 7. Otherwise it's the same. So you just want to play around with it. Until you get it on your fingers. Nirvana. Oh, I don't know any of their songs. Sorry. I never played that kind of music in my life. I remember them when they came out. I thought they were cool. Smells Like Teen Spirit and all that. Great band, great songs, but I never play that style of music myself. So this guitar is a Hagström Swede, but I have changed the pickups. I have Porter pickups, Blender, I think they're called Blender humbuckers. Really great sound in these pickups. My top 5 favorite guitar players in terms of influence. Well, number 1, I'm sure you can guess. Jimmy, of course, is probably my number 1 influence. But then I have John Scofield, jazz player. I forget. Cool tune. The bass line that keeps moving. Oh. Something like that. Anyway, John Scofield. Scott Henderson. Scott Henderson is another guy that I am greatly inspired by, because he's got such tasty phrasing. So that's 3. 2 more. Steve Ray Vaughan, of course. I have to admit that he also is a big influence on me. And then, other than that, I would say a lot of those legendary blues players like Albert King and Freddie King. I can't name one. Albert for sure. But then you have jazz players too, like Wes Montgomery. I mean, I'm influenced by those guys too. I don't know what else to think. Gary Moore, Yngwie Malmsteen. I mean, those guys influenced me when I was young, for sure. Do I like metal music? Yes. A lot of times I do. Depends on what band it is. I don't listen to it that much, but I like excuse me, I like metal bands that are good, I guess. I mean, they're not always melodic, but a lot of energy is what I like about metal music. Sometimes the riffs are so hard to play for me because I don't have that, all that kind of, you know, grinding pick hand stuff. I don't really do that well. But I like tight metal bands when I hear them. And of course, Robert Ford is also a big influence. Because Robin has a bit of jazz influence as well as great classic blues ability. Yeah, the Zex coil pickups are awesome, aren't they? especially when you play live. You can you can use a lot of gain, and you don't get that 60 cycle hum. Good evening from Vancouver Island. Hope the weather is nice over there. Here in Alberta, it's pretty nice too. I went out for a bike ride a little while ago, and it was like an hour ago maybe. It was 17 degrees. Not so bad. Billy Gibbons. Yeah, of course. Of course, he's awesome. I need to learn more of these top tunes, but the early stuff they did, really awesome. Yeah, smoke. We have a lot of smoke problems now in Western Canada. There's a lot of forest fires burning in BC, and the smoke is blowing in over Alberta, and we get really bad air here. Today it's been quite bad. The sun in the sky is orange because of all the smoke. So I'm just noodling around. Sometimes I try to create interesting chord voicings. See what I can come up with. Let's move one note at a time from chord voicing. Joe Satriani, yeah, he's good. Also into Van Halen when I was younger, although I can't play that stuff anymore. Yeah. But if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, playing the same old pentatonic stuff, try to learn different style of music. Something that using chords that you're not so familiar with, and try to learn those arpeggios for those chords, and change your mental scenery. That's always good, because I have that problem also. Sometimes I feel like I'm playing the same old blues scale stuff, and sometimes I hate hearing myself doing it because I'm doing it too much. So then I try to break away from it by playing the major scale maybe. try to play something melodic with some chords that just come by. You know, it's a different sound, right? And it helps your musical ability, I think, and helps your ear too to hear different things. Well, thanks, guys. Whammy Bar Blues. I used to use the whammy bar more when I was younger. I don't use it so much anymore, but sometimes, you know, I get into certain mental states. If I listen to a certain player, maybe I'll start doing, you know, trying to get into that headspace and play in a similar fashion, and then I might use the whammy bar. Obviously, I don't have one on here, but Scott Henderson, he is a master at playing Whammy Bar Blues. Yeah, thanks guys for hanging out with me while I'm testing the gear. It's, you know, it's really fun for me that there are people that want to learn from me. It's rewarding, and I'm always excited when I'm maybe able to convey ideas and people learn from it. That's sort of a little victory for me. So I hope I can do that. Yeah, I'll do more of these in the future. I want to go into a little bit more advanced topics like non-diatonic scales in a different video. Like the melodic minor, as well as the harmonic minor. Altered scale, which always wants to go somewhere. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Glad you like what I do. I really appreciate the feedback. It helps me a lot. So the picture quality is okay and the sound is okay. Something I'm trying to learn right now is economy picking, when you play a sweep. I'm very bad at it. I don't know if I'm too old for learning a new technique, maybe. Yeah, the picture could be better. I can see my face is a bit blurry, but the guitar looks like it's in focus. I have an HD camcorder, no, HD webcam, I mean. So I'm not sure why the picture isn't sharper. It's supposed to be pretty good. I guess I can always upgrade if I do this more. Dr. Guitar on YouTube. No, don't know who that is. Do not know. Let's see if I get closer. My face is... Yeah, it's pretty good quality if I'm closer, right? But when I'm here, my face looks more blurry. So I don't know why. Maybe I'm sitting in the wrong spot. The riff we always hear at music stores, right? I'll have to play around with the focus, see if I can lock it somehow. I don't know how I do that actually. I'll have to look at the menus. But the most important thing is that the guitar is in focus, right? If I'm showing something. Yeah, I'll mess around with the settings later. Yeah. That's all for tonight, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, I will stop now. Saludos.